She ran toward his plane like the world was ending. And maybe it was. 2 little girls in her arms. His jet already spinning up. His fiancée inside, waiting. He didn't recognize her at first. Not after 3 years of silence. But then he saw their faces. His face. Twice. Everything he thought he knew? A lie. Everything he was about to do? Impossible now. Because the woman he left behind didn't just disappear. She took his daughters with her. And now, she's back. With a truth that will destroy him. The tarmac stretched out like a black mirror beneath the Los Angeles sky. Private jets dotted the horizon, sleek and untouchable, their engines humming with the kind of wealth that didn't ask permission. Dae-hyun stood at the base of his plane's stairs, his hand resting lightly on the rail. 30 years old, king of an empire built in shadows. A man whose name alone could silence rooms, end negotiations, shift power across 3 states. He wore a charcoal suit tailored to perfection, his dark hair swept back, his jaw tight with the kind of control that came from years of never showing weakness. Behind him, inside the cabin, his fiancée waited. Minji, 26. Beautiful, in the way only carefully curated perfection could be. She'd been chosen the way everything in his life had been chosen. Strategically, deliberately, without room for error. Their wedding was scheduled for tomorrow. Seoul. A union that would cement alliances, merge territories, solidify his position as untouchable. He should have felt something. But Dae-hyun hadn't felt anything in 3 years. Not since her. Boss. His head of security stepped forward, earpiece glowing faintly. We're clear for takeoff. Wheels up in 5. Dae-hyun nodded once. Final. Absolute. He turned toward the stairs, and then he heard it. A scream. Not of pain, of desperation. His body went still. Every instinct honed by a decade of survival told him to move, to assess, to control the threat. But when he turned, what he saw wasn't a threat. It was something far more dangerous. A woman. Running. Full sprint across the restricted tarmac. Security shouting behind her, arms pumping as she fought against the wind from the engines. Her hair flew wild around her face. Her breath came in gasps, and in her arms, 2 children, little girls, identical, maybe 3 years old. Their tiny hands clutched at her neck as she ran, their wide eyes filled with confusion and fear. Dae-hyun's chest tightened. He knew that run, that desperation. He knew her. Amara. Her name left his lips like a wound reopening. She stumbled to a stop 15 feet from him, her knees buckling slightly as she fought to stay upright. The girls clung to her, their small faces buried in her shoulders. Security surrounded her instantly, guns not drawn but hands ready, voices sharp and commanding. Step back. Ma'am, you need to leave. This is a restricted... Let her through. Dae-hyun's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. Silence fell. His men hesitated, glancing at each other, then at him. They'd never heard that tone before. Not from him. It wasn't anger. It was something raw, something human. He descended the stairs slowly, each step measured, his eyes locked on her. Amara, 28 now. Still as beautiful as the day she'd vanished from his life. Her dark skin gleamed with sweat, her chest heaving as she tried to catch her breath. She wore jeans and a simple jacket, nothing like the elegant dresses she used to wear when they were together, when they were everything. Dae-hyun. Her voice cracked. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But you need to know... She shifted one of the girls in her arms, turning her so he could see her face. The world stopped. The girl blinked up at him with wide, curious eyes. Dark eyes. His eyes. The same sharp jawline. The same serious expression even at 3 years old. His heart slammed against his ribs. No. The word came out broken. Barely a whisper. Amara's tears spilled over. Yes. She turned the other girl toward him. Identical. Perfect mirror images. They're yours, Dae-hyun. They've always been yours. The tarmac tilted beneath him. 3 years. 3 years since she'd disappeared. Since she'd left him without a word, without a trace, without explanation. He'd searched for her, torn apart entire cities looking for her, used every resource, every contact, every thread of power he had, and found nothing, because she didn't want to be found, because she was hiding them. You, his voice came out rough, barely controlled. You kept them from me. It wasn't a question. Amara flinched but didn't look away. I had to. You had to? His hands curled into fists at his sides. You had to steal my children? You had to let me think? He couldn't finish. Couldn't say what he'd thought. That she was dead. That she'd stopped loving him. That he'd failed her. I protected them. Amara's voice trembled but held firm. From your world. From what you do. From me. She went silent. The truth sat between them like broken glass. Behind him, the plane door opened. Minji appeared at the top of the stairs, elegant and composed, her white traveling dress catching the light. Daehyun? Her voice was soft, uncertain. Is everything all right? He didn't turn. Couldn't. Because he was staring at two little girls who had his face, his blood, his life running through their veins. And the woman who'd carried them, hidden them, loved them alone for 3 years. Who are they? Minji's question floated down from the plane. Amara's eyes met his, desperate, pleading. Tell her, she whispered. Tell her the truth. Daehyun's world fractured into before and after. Before he knew. After he could never unknow. One of the girls, the one on Amara's left hip, reached out a tiny hand toward him. Mama, she whispered. Who is he? Amara's tears fell faster. Someone Mama used to know, past tense. As if he were a ghost. As if the 2 years they'd spent together, the most alive he'd ever felt, were just a memory she'd buried. Daehyun took a step forward, then another. His security tensed, but didn't move. He stopped inches from Amara, close enough to see the exhaustion in her eyes, the fear, the desperate hope. What are their names? His voice came out hollow. Amara's breath hitched. Hana and Haru. Korean names. She'd given them Korean names. Even while hiding them from him, she'd honored where they came from. His throat burned. How? He swallowed hard. How did you find me? I've always known where you were. Her admission was quiet, broken. I couldn't come back. Not until what? She looked up at him, and in her eyes he saw 3 years of loneliness, of fear, of raising 2 children alone while loving a man she couldn't have. Until I had no choice. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Amara. His hand moved without permission, reaching up to touch her face, to confirm she was real. She jerked back. The rejection cut deeper than any blade. Don't. Her voice shook. Please don't make this harder. Harder? The word came out sharp, lethal. You show up with my daughters after 3 years of silence and tell me not to make it harder. You're getting married tomorrow. Her voice rose, raw and desperate. You've moved on. You have a life. I'm not here to... Then why are you here? The question echoed across the tarmac. Amara's face crumpled. Because, she whispered, something's wrong. And they need you. Ice flooded his veins. What do you mean something's wrong? She shook her head, tears streaming now. Not here. Not like this. But Daehyun. If I had any other choice, I would have stayed away forever. I swear I would have. But I don't. And they deserve to know their father before... Before what? Silence. Terrible, suffocating silence. Minji's voice drifted down again. Daehyun, we need to go. The wedding is canceled. The words left his mouth before his brain caught up. Gasps rippled through his security team. Minji's sharp intake of breath was audible even from the top of the stairs. But Daehyun didn't care. Because he was looking at 2 little girls who shared his blood, and a woman who'd broken his heart to save them. Get off my plane, he said quietly, his eyes still locked on Amara. Minji's silence was deafening. Then, the click of heels on metal stairs. Slow, deliberate, She descended like a queen approaching execution. When she reached the bottom, she stopped beside him, her perfume familiar and wrong. "You're making a mistake," she said softly. He finally looked at her. "I know. Your family will never forgive this. I know. You'll lose everything you've built. I know." Minji's perfect composure cracked just slightly. "And for what? A woman who abandoned you? Children you don't even know?" Daehyun's jaw tightened. "For the truth." Minji studied him for a long moment. Then, with the grace of someone who'd always known this day might come, she nodded once. "I hope they're worth it." She turned and walked away, her white dress disappearing into a waiting car. And just like that, his future crumbled. Daehyun turned back to Amara. She was shaking. The girls were crying softly now, overwhelmed and confused. "Come with me," he said. It wasn't a request. Amara hesitated, then nodded, because she'd come this far. And there was no going back now. The penthouse overlooked Los Angeles like a throne room over a conquered kingdom. Floor-to-ceiling windows, marble floors, furniture that cost more than most people made in a year. Amara stood in the center of it, feeling impossibly small. The twins were asleep now, curled together on the massive leather sofa, their tiny bodies rising and falling in perfect rhythm. She'd forgotten how much Daehyun's world scared her. Not because of what he did, but because of how easy it would be to lose herself in it. "They're beautiful." His voice came from behind her, soft and careful, like he was afraid of breaking something. Amara didn't turn. "They look like you. They look like us." The correction stung, because it was true. Hana had her smile. Haru had her laugh. But everything else, the sharp intelligence in their eyes, the way they observed everything before reacting, the quiet intensity even at 3 years old, that was all him. "How long have you been back in LA?" Daehyun asked. 2 weeks. "And you waited until I was boarding a plane to—" "I didn't know how to do this." She spun around, her control shattering. "Do you think this was easy? Showing up like that? Destroying your wedding? Coming back after—" She stopped, her voice breaking. Daehyun stood across the room, still in his suit, though he'd loosened his tie. His hair was slightly disheveled now, as if he'd been running his hands through it. He looked older than she remembered. Harder. Like the 3 years without her had carved something essential away. "You said something was wrong." His voice was quiet, controlled. "Tell me." Amara wrapped her arms around herself. This was the part she'd been dreading. "Hana is sick." The words hit the room like a grenade. Daehyun went completely still. "What?" "She has a heart condition. Congenital. The doctors say she needs surgery, but it's complicated and expensive, and money isn't an issue." "I know that." Her voice rose. "Don't you think I know that? Don't you think I've spent the last 3 years knowing that one phone call to you would solve everything? Then why didn't you call?" "Because I was trying to protect them." "From what?" "From this." She gestured wildly around the penthouse. "From your world. From the danger. From me." He finished again. The truth sat between them, ugly and undeniable. Amara's shoulders sagged. "I didn't want them growing up in the shadows. I didn't want them afraid every time you left the house that you might not come back. You didn't want them to love me." His voice was so quiet she almost didn't hear it, but the pain in it was unmistakable. "That's not fair," she whispered. "None of this is fair." He moved closer, his footsteps silent on the marble. "You kept my daughters from me for 3 years. You let me think I'd lost you. You built a life without me. And now you show up because you need something." Each word was a blade. Accurate. Lethal. "I'm sorry." Amara's tears spilled over. "I'm so sorry. But I didn't know what else to do. I was 19 when we met, Daehyun. 19 and stupid and in love with a man who could have me killed with a phone call. I would never— I know that." She cut him off. "I've always known that. But your world doesn't care what you would or wouldn't do. Your enemies don't care. And I couldn't risk them being used against you. I couldn't risk them becoming leverage. I couldn't—" Her voice broke completely. She sank onto the arm of the sofa, her hand instinctively moving to stroke Hana's hair. Daehyun watched her. This woman he'd loved more than his own life. This woman who'd destroyed him by leaving. "How bad is it?" he asked quietly. Amara didn't look up. "The surgery has a 70% success rate. If she doesn't get it within the next 6 months." She couldn't finish, didn't need to. "I'll make the calls tonight," Daehyun said. "The best cardiac surgeons in the country. Money is no object. She'll have whatever she needs." "Thank you." The words were barely a whisper. Silence fell between them. Heavy, complicated. "Where have you been living?" he asked. "Phoenix, small apartment. I've been working 2 jobs trying to save for..." "Alone?" The question was sharp. Amara finally looked up at him. "Yes, alone." Something in his expression shifted. Relief? Pain? She couldn't tell. "And them?" He nodded toward the twins. "How have they been?" "Perfect." Amara's voice softened. "Smart. Curious. Haru is fearless. Hana is quieter, more thoughtful. They're best friends. They take care of each other." "Do they know about me?" The question hung in the air. Amara's throat tightened. "I told them their father was away, that he loved them but couldn't be with us. You lied to them too." She flinched. "I protected them. By erasing me. By keeping them alive." Love K-dramas? An unforgettable romance? Join the Romance Audio Club today. Get access to full romantic series released in exciting monthly chapters, unlock an exclusive bonus story, and become part of a VIP community of true romance lovers. Your next love story is waiting. Don't miss a single heartbeat. Scan the QR code now and start listening instantly. Her voice rose, and Hana stirred on the couch, mumbling something in her sleep. Both of them froze, watching until she settled again. When Amara spoke next, her voice was quieter, defeated. "I did what I thought was right. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I stole something from them that I had no right to steal. But I can't take it back now. All I can do is try to fix it." Daehyun moved to the window, his back to her, his silhouette sharp against the city lights. "When I couldn't find you," he said slowly, "I thought you were dead. I mourned you. I buried the part of me that could feel anything. I built walls so high nothing could touch me." He turned to face her. "And then you show up, alive, with 2 daughters, and you ask me to just... what? Forgive you? Pretend the last 3 years didn't happen?" "No." Amara stood. "I don't expect forgiveness. I don't expect anything. But they deserve to know you. And you deserve to know them. Whatever happens between us doesn't matter anymore. This isn't about us. Everything about this is about us." His words were fierce, raw. He closed the distance between them in 3 strides. "You think I can just look at you and not remember? You think I can see them and not see every moment we had together? Every promise we made? Daehyun, you were my light, Amara. My only light. And when you disappeared, He stopped, his jaw clenched. She could see him fighting for control. "I became the monster you were afraid of," he finished quietly. Amara's breath caught. "You were never a monster. You don't know what I've done, what I've become. I know you." Her hand moved to his chest, over his heart, before she could stop herself. "I know this." His hand came up, covering hers. The touch was electric. 3 years of distance, 3 years of pain, and it all vanished the moment their skin met. "I never stopped loving you," he whispered. Amara's tears fell. "Don't say that." "Why not?" It's the truth. Because it makes this harder. Because we can't what? His other hand came up, cradling her face. Can't admit that nothing has changed? That you're still the only thing that matters? Everything has changed. Her voice broke. You were about to get married. I have 2 children. We're different people now. I'm not different. His forehead touched hers. I'm just broken. Daehyun, let me help her. Let me know them. Let me... He stopped. Because he was asking for too much and they both knew it. Amara pulled away gently. You can be in their lives, she said quietly. You should be in their lives. But we can't go back. We can't... A soft sound interrupted her. Both of them turned. Hana was sitting up on the couch, rubbing her eyes, looking around the unfamiliar room with sleepy confusion. Mama? Her small voice was uncertain. Amara was at her side instantly. I'm here, baby. I'm right here. Hana's eyes found Daehyun. She studied him with that serious, intelligent gaze that was so eerily like his own. Who is he? She asked again. The question she'd asked on the tarmac. But this time, Amara didn't deflect. She looked at Daehyun, her eyes asking permission. He nodded once, barely breathing. Amara turned back to Hana, smoothing her hair with gentle fingers. This, she said softly, is your father. The room went silent. Hana blinked. Once. Twice. Then she looked at Daehyun again, her head tilting slightly. You're the one Mama cries about? The words were innocent, devastating. Daehyun's breath caught. Amara's face crumpled for just a moment before she pulled herself together. Yes, she whispered. He's the one. Hana climbed down from the couch slowly. She walked toward Daehyun with careful, measured steps. He knelt down, bringing himself to her level. She stopped right in front of him. For a long moment, they just looked at each other. Father and daughter. Meeting for the first time. Then Hana reached out one small hand and touched his face. You have sad eyes, she said quietly. Like Mama. Daehyun's throat closed completely. He couldn't speak, could barely breathe. I'm Hana, she continued matter of fact. That's Haru. She's sleeping. She's louder than me. A broken laugh escaped him. I'm Daehyun, he managed. That's a long name. You can call me. He stopped, looked at Amara. She was crying silently, watching them. You can call me whatever you want, he finished. Hana considered this seriously. Then she smiled. Small, shy, perfect. Okay, Appa. The Korean word for father. It shattered him completely. Morning came too fast. Daehyun hadn't slept. He'd spent the night watching his daughters sleep, memorizing their faces, trying to reconcile the weight of 3 lost years with the impossible miracle of their existence. Amara had dozed fitfully in the guest room, waking every hour to check on the girls. Now, as dawn painted the city gold, they sat across from each other at his dining table. Coffee between them. Silence heavier than words. I've already contacted Dr. Sarah Chen, Daehyun said quietly. She's the best pediatric cardiac surgeon on the West Coast. She'll see Hana this afternoon. Amara's hands wrapped around her mug. Thank you. I've also arranged for a full medical team, specialists, whatever she needs. Daehyun, and I'm setting up a trust fund for both of them. Education, medical, whatever they... Stop. He went quiet. Amara set her mug down carefully. I didn't come here for money. I know. And I'm not trying to. I know. His eyes met hers. But they're my daughters. And I've missed 3 years. I can't get that back. But I can make sure they have everything going forward. They don't need everything. They just need a father. The words sat between them. Amara looked away. Yes. Daehyun leaned back in his chair. Then that's what I'll be. It's not that simple. Why not? Because of who you are, what you do. There it was again. The wall between them. I've spent 3 years keeping them away from your world, Amara continued, her voice soft but firm. I'm not going to bring them into it now just because they're sick? Just because you need help? That's not fair. You keep saying that. His voice was quiet, Lethal. But nothing about this situation is fair, Amara. So stop hiding behind fairness and tell me the truth. Do you really think I'm that dangerous? I think your life is that dangerous. Then why come back? Why not find another way? She met his eyes. Because Hana asked about you. Because 3 years of lies were eating me alive. Because I was wrong. The admission cost her everything. He could see it in the way her shoulders tensed, the way her hands shook slightly. I was wrong, she repeated, quieter. To keep them from you. To run. To hide. I thought I was protecting them, but all I did was steal time from all of us. And I can't fix that. But I can. Try to do better now. Daehyun's expression softened slightly. What does that look like? He asked. Doing better? I don't know. Her laugh was broken. I've been trying to figure that out for 2 weeks. Do we stay here? Go back to Phoenix? See you on weekends? I have no idea how this works. Stay. The word was immediate. Amara's eyes widened. Daehyun. Stay in LA. I'll set you up in a place. Security. Whatever you need. You can have your space, your independence. But let me be close to them. I can't live off your money. Then don't. Work. Do whatever you want. But don't take them away again. The desperation in his voice was undisguised. Raw. Amara's throat tightened. And what about your life? Your business? The people who won't understand why you canceled your wedding and suddenly have a secret family? Let me worry about that. They'll see us as a weakness. They'd be right. The admission hung in the air. You are my weakness, he continued quietly. You always have been. They. And now them. But I don't care anymore. I spent 3 years pretending I could function without you. I can't. And I won't. Daehyun, this isn't sustainable. You can't just watch me. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, his jaw tightening. It's my father. Amara went still. She knew what that meant. Daehyun's family. The empire he'd inherited. The expectations that came with the name. You should answer, she said quietly. I will. Later. He's going to ask about the wedding. About why you... I'll handle it. But she could see the tension in his shoulders. The weight of choices made in the heat of emotion that would have consequences he couldn't control. The sound of small footsteps interrupted them. Both girls appeared in the doorway, rubbing their eyes, Haru holding Hana's hand. Mama? Haru's voice was uncertain. Where are we? Amara moved to them instantly, kneeling down. We're with your father, baby. Remember? Haru looked at Daehyun with the same serious expression her sister had shown the night before. Then she surprised everyone. She walked straight up to him, looked him over carefully, and nodded once. Okay, she said simply. Daehyun blinked. Okay? You're acceptable. Amara choked on a laugh. Daehyun's lips twitched. Acceptable. Yes. Mama says we can trust you, so we will. Haru turned to her sister. Right, Hana? Hana nodded shyly. The simplicity of children. The terrifying, beautiful simplicity of trust offered without conditions. Daehyun looked at Amara over their heads. And in that moment, the walls between them cracked just slightly. How about breakfast? He offered. Do you have pancakes? Haru asked immediately. I can have pancakes made. With chocolate chips? As many as you want. Haru's eyes lit up. Mama never lets us have chocolate chips. Haru! Amara's protest was automatic. But Daehyun was already moving to his phone, texting his staff. Chocolate chip pancakes for 2, he said seriously. This is a very important mission. Haru giggled. The sound was magic, pure, innocent, perfect. And it broke something in Daehyun's chest that he thought was dead. An hour later, they sat in his kitchen, a room that had never been used for anything except professional catering, eating pancakes. Haru talked nonstop, about school, about their neighbor's cat, about the game she and Hana liked to play. Hana was quieter, watching him with those serious eyes, occasionally asking questions. Do you live here alone? She asked at one point. Yes. That's sad. Amara winced. But Daehyun just nodded. It is. You should get a dog. I should? Yes. Dogs make people happy. Mama says we can't have one because our apartment is too small. But your house is big. You could have 3 dogs. 3 seems like a lot. Mama says good things come in 3s. Hana's smile was small. Like us. Daehyun's breath caught. Amara's eyes filled with tears. Yes, he said quietly. Like you. The day passed in a surreal blur. Dr. Chen arrived in the afternoon, professional and efficient, and examined Hana thoroughly. Daehyun and Amara sat together in the waiting area of his private medical suite, neither speaking, both terrified. When Dr. Chen emerged, her expression was serious but not grave. The condition is manageable, she said. Surgery is recommended within the next 3 months. I've reviewed her previous scans. There's risk, but with the right team, I'm confident we can give her a full recovery. Amara sagged with relief. Daehyun's hand found hers automatically. She didn't pull away. I'll schedule everything, Dr. Chen continued. Pre-op consultations, the surgical team, post-op care, Ms. Amara, you'll need to bring her in next week for baseline testing. I'll make sure they're here, Daehyun said. Dr. Chen looked between them, her expression knowing. She's lucky, she said quietly, to have both of you. After she left, silence fell. Thank you, Amara whispered. Don't thank me for taking care of my daughter. Still. He squeezed her hand gently. We're going to get through this, he said. All of us. But even as he said it, his phone was buzzing again. His father, his associates, the world he'd walked away from yesterday, demanding answers, demanding consequences. And Daehyun knew that the hardest part wasn't behind them. It was just beginning. The call came at 2 a.m. Daehyun was already awake, standing at his window, watching the city breathe. 3 days since Amara had returned. 3 days since his world had split in 2. When his phone lit up with his father's name, he knew the reckoning had arrived. Father, you canceled the wedding. The voice on the other end was cold, controlled, dangerous. Yes, you embarrassed the Min family. You damaged our alliance. You made us look weak. I'm aware. Are you? His father's tone sharpened. Because from where I'm standing, you threw away everything we've built for a woman who abandoned you and 2 children you didn't know existed. Daehyun's jaw tightened. They're my daughters. They're a liability. The words hit like a physical blow. Careful, Daehyun said quietly. I'm being realistic. The families are already talking. They see weakness. They see distraction. And weak, distracted leaders don't survive long in our world. Then maybe I don't want to survive in this world. Silence. Long. Heavy. When his father spoke again, his voice was ice. You have 48 hours to fix this. Apologize to the Min family. Find a way to salvage the alliance. And remove the distraction. The distraction has names. Hana and Haru. I don't care what they're called. I care about the empire you're jeopardizing. 48 hours, Daehyun. Or I'll handle it myself. The line went dead. Daehyun stood frozen, his phone still pressed to his ear. Remove the distraction. His father's words echoed, and he knew exactly what they meant. Amara woke to find him sitting in the dark living room, a glass of whiskey untouched on the table beside him. The girls were asleep in the guest room. Safe. Protected. For now. Couldn't sleep? She asked softly, settling into the chair across from him. My father called. She went still. And? He wants me to choose. The family. Or you. Amara's breath caught. Daehyun. I already chose. His eyes met hers in the darkness. I chose you 3 days ago. I chose the girls. I chose the truth. And what does that mean? Her voice trembled. What happens now? It means I'm walking away. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. From your family? From everything? From the empire? From the name? From the expectations? He leaned forward, his elbows on his knees. I have enough money to disappear. Enough resources to keep us safe. We can leave LA. Start over. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere they can't touch us. You can't be serious. I've never been more serious. Amara stood, pacing. You're talking about abandoning everything you've built, everything you are. For what? For us? Yes, that's insane. That's love. She stopped, her back to him. I don't want you to give up who you are for me, she said quietly. I spent 3 years running from your world. I'm not going to let you run from it too. Then what do you want? I want you to fight. She turned to face him. I want you to tell them that your daughters aren't a liability, that we're not a weakness. I want you to make them see that you can have both. You don't understand how this world works. Then explain it to me. Daehyun stood, moving to the window. In my world, love is leverage. Family is a target. The moment they know you care about something, they use it against you. My father isn't wrong. You and the girls are a weakness. The second my enemies find out about you, then we become your strength. He turned. What? Amara moved closer. You said yourself that you've been broken for 3 years, that you built walls so high nothing could touch you. But look at you now. In 3 days, you've shown more life, more humanity, more you than I bet you've shown in years. That doesn't make it safe. Nothing about love is safe. Her hand found his chest again, over his heart. But it's worth it. They're worth it. And if you run now, you'll spend the rest of your life wondering if you could have made it work. And if I stay? If I fight? And they come after you? Then we fight back. Together. Daehyun searched her face. You're really asking me to bring you into this world? After everything you did to escape it? I'm asking you to let us be part of your life. The real one. Not a sanitized version, not a hidden secret. The actual, complicated, dangerous truth of who you are. Why? Because I love you. The words came out raw, honest. I never stopped, and I'm tired of pretending that running away was the right choice. It wasn't. It was the scared choice, and I'm done being scared. He pulled her close, his forehead resting against hers. If we do this, he whispered, there's no going back. I know. They'll test us. They'll push. They'll try to break us. Let them try. His laugh was broken. You've gotten braver. I had to. I was raising 2 tiny versions of you. He kissed her then. Soft, desperate. 3 years of longing compressed into a single moment. When they pulled apart, both were breathless. We do this my way, he said. Security, protocols. You don't go anywhere without protection. The girls don't leave sight of my team. And you listen when I say something's dangerous. Deal. And you move in here. All of you. No arguments. Daehyun? I'm serious, Amara. If we're doing this, we're doing it right. As a family. The word settled between them. Family. Something he'd never thought he'd have. Something she'd tried to build alone. Okay, she whispered. Okay? We'll stay. We'll try. A sound from the hallway interrupted them. Both turned. Hana stood in the doorway, her small silhouette backlit by the nightlight. Mama? Her voice was sleepy. Uncertain. Are you crying? Amara wiped her eyes quickly. Happy tears, baby. Hana walked over, and Daehyun lifted her without thinking, settling her on his hip. She rested her head on his shoulder, half asleep. Appa? She mumbled. His heart clenched. Yes? Are you staying with us now? He looked at Amara over Hana's head. She nodded once. Yes, he said quietly. I'm staying. Good. Hana's eyes were already closing. Mama's happier when you're here. And just like that, the decision was made. Not by strategy, not by power, but by a 3-year-old who wanted her family whole. The meeting was set for dawn. Neutral territory. An upscale restaurant closed to the public. Guards at every entrance. Daehyun arrived with Amara. His father was already there. And he wasn't alone. 6 men. The heads of the allied families. The council that had governed LA's underground for 3 decades. They looked at Amara like she was a specimen under glass. This is her? One of them asked. This is Amara, Daehyun said evenly. My partner. The mother of my children. The woman who abandoned you, his father corrected coldly. The woman I love, Dae-hyun replied. Tension rippled through the room. His father gestured to a chair. Sit, both of you. They sat. Amara's hand found Dae-hyun's under the table. You've put us in an impossible position, his father began. The Min alliance was strategic, essential, and you destroyed it for, what, sentiment? For family, Dae-hyun said. Family is a luxury we can't afford. Then I'll find a new way. There is no new way. His father's control cracked slightly. You are heir to an empire. You have responsibilities, obligations. You can't just... I can. Dae-hyun's voice was quiet, absolute. And I am. One of the other men leaned forward. You realize what you're asking? To bring civilians into our world? To make them targets? I'm not asking permission. Then you're a fool. Perhaps. Dae-hyun's gaze swept the table. But I'm a fool who's already made his choice. So the question isn't whether I'm staying with my family. The question is whether you'll accept it, or whether I walk away from all of this. Silence. His father's eyes narrowed. You're bluffing. Am I? Dae-hyun stood. I have enough resources to disappear, to start over, to build something new. Without you. Without any of you. You'd abandon your legacy? My legacy is sitting right here. He gestured to Amara. And sleeping safely 20 miles away. Everything else is just business. The words landed like grenades. One of the older men, Park, a longtime ally, studied Dae-hyun carefully. You've changed, he said quietly. Yes. 3 days ago you were ice, untouchable. Now you're... human? Dae-hyun finished. Park nodded slowly. Maybe that's not weakness. Maybe that's evolution. His father's jaw tightened. You can't be serious. I am. Park turned to the others. We've run this empire on fear for 30 years. Control, power. And what has it given us? Paranoia, isolation, empty victories, maybe. He looked at Dae-hyun. Maybe it's time for something different. You're suggesting we accept this? Another man asked. I'm suggesting we adapt. The world is changing. The old ways don't work anymore. Maybe a leader who actually has something to lose is stronger than one with nothing to fight for. Murmurs around the table. His father's expression was stone. If we allow this, he said slowly, it sets a precedent. Others will think they can prioritize personal desires over the organization. Good, Dae-hyun said. Let them. Let them remember they're human. Let them build families. Let them have reasons to build something lasting instead of just surviving day to day. Idealistic nonsense. Idealism, Amara spoke for the first time, her voice steady, is what keeps people from becoming monsters. Every eye turned to her. She didn't flinch. You talk about legacy, she continued, about empire, about power. But what are you actually building? What will you leave behind? Fear? That dies when you do. Control? That crumbles. But family? Love? That echoes forward. That actually means something. His father's expression was unreadable. You think you understand our world? He asked quietly. No, but I understand him. She looked at Dae-hyun. And I know that he's strong enough to be both, to lead and to love, to build empire and family. You're asking him to choose because you never could, but he's not you. The room went silent. Then Park started laughing, quiet at first, then louder. I like her, he said finally. She's got spine. Dae-hyun's father didn't smile, but something shifted in his expression. You'll need additional security, he said finally. For all of them. 24/7. No exceptions. Dae-hyun nodded. Already arranged. And you'll rebuild the Min alliance. Find another way to secure it. I will. And the girls. His father hesitated. They are never to be used as leverage, by anyone. I'll make that clear to the families. It wasn't acceptance, but it was close. Thank you, Dae-hyun said quietly. His father stood. Don't thank me. Prove me wrong. Prove that love doesn't make you weak. That family doesn't make you vulnerable. Show me I'm wrong about what it takes to survive in this world. I will. The council dispersed slowly. Only Park remained, approaching Amara with a gentle smile. Your daughters, he said. How old? 3, Amara replied. My granddaughter is 5. Perhaps they should meet, play together. Her eyes widened. You'd want that? Why not? They're children. They should have friends, normal things. He looked at Dae-hyun. You're right. It's time we remembered what we're fighting for. After he left, Dae-hyun and Amara sat alone in the empty restaurant. Did that just happen? She whispered. I think so. Your father almost approved. Almost is better than I expected. She laughed, the sound shaky with relief. We're really doing this, she said. Yes. Building a life, together, in the middle of all this chaos. Yes. She turned to face him. I'm terrified. Good. So am I. But I'd rather be terrified with you than safe without you. She kissed him then, hard, grateful, desperate. When they pulled apart, she was smiling. Let's go home, she said. The girls are probably driving your security team crazy. Our girls, he corrected gently. Our girls. The word settled between them. Perfect. Right. Ours. 6 months later. The surgery had been a success. Hana's scar was fading now, a thin line across her chest that she wore like a badge of honor. It means I'm brave, she'd told her preschool class. Like Appa. Dae-hyun had cried when Amara told him that story. Happy tears. Healing tears. The kind he'd never thought he'd shed. Now, he stood in the backyard of their new home. Not the penthouse, but an actual house with a yard and swings and enough space for 2 energetic 3-year-olds to run wild. Watching the girls play. They had a dog now. 3, actually. Just like Hana had suggested. Golden retrievers named Thunder, Sky, and Hope. The girls loved them. Amara walked up behind him, slipping her arms around his waist. They're getting so big, she murmured. I know. Do you ever regret it? Choosing us? He turned to face her. Never, not once. And he meant it. The last 6 months had been the hardest of his life. Rebuilding alliances, restructuring the organization, proving to everyone that family didn't equal weakness. But they'd also been the best. Mornings with pancakes, bedtime stories, teaching Haru to ride a bike, watching Hana recover and grow stronger every day, learning how to be a father, learning how to be a partner, learning how to be human again. Your father called, Amara said. He wants to meet the girls, officially. Dae-hyun raised an eyebrow. He does? His exact words were, I suppose I should meet my granddaughters before they're teenagers. A laugh escaped him. That's progress. It is. They watched the girls for a moment longer. Hana chasing Haru. Haru laughing. Both of them so bright, so alive. I got a job offer, Amara said quietly. Yeah? Working with Dr. Chen's foundation, helping families with children who need cardiac surgery, connecting them with resources, support. Dae-hyun pulled her closer. That's perfect. You don't mind? It's full-time. It'll mean you're doing what you love, helping people, being incredible. He kissed her forehead. I'm proud of you. She smiled. The girls start real school next year. Park's granddaughter will be in their class. He told me. He's also offered to be godfather, if we want. Do we? Dae-hyun considered. Yes, I think we do. Because that was the thing. 6 months ago, he'd been alone. Isolated. A king in an empty castle. Now he had family. Friends. A life that meant something beyond power and control. Appa! Mama! Haru's voice rang out. Come play with us, Hana echoed her sister. Please, we're being knights. Amara laughed. Duty calls. They walked across the yard together, the dogs bounding alongside them. Dae-hyun scooped up both girls, one in each arm, their giggles filling the air. Knights, huh? He asked seriously. Yes, Haru declared. And you're the dragon we have to defeat. That sounds dangerous. Don't worry, Hana said solemnly. We'll be gentle. He roared playfully, chasing them around the yard while Amara watched, her heart so full it ached. This was what she'd been afraid of. This happiness. This completeness. She'd thought it would make them vulnerable. And maybe it did. But it also made them strong. Later that evening, after the girls were asleep, Dae-hyun found Amara on the back porch, watching the stars. He settled beside her, pulling her close. "Thank you," he said quietly. "For what?" "For coming back. For taking the risk. For believing we could make this work." "You made it work," she corrected. "You fought for us. You chose us every single day. Because you're worth fighting for." She turned to face him, her eyes shining. "I love you," she whispered. "I loved you 3 years ago. I love you now. I'll love you forever." Forever sounds perfect. He kissed her. Slow, deep, full of promise. When they pulled apart, she was smiling. "What are you thinking?" he asked. "That we should probably get married." He blinked. "Are you proposing to me?" "Maybe. Is that okay?" His laugh was pure joy. "It's more than okay. So that's a yes?" "That's a yes." She kissed him again, harder this time. And somewhere in the house, one of the girls stirred. "Mama?" Hana's sleepy voice called out. They both went still, listening. "Appa?" she tried next. "I'll go," Dae-hyun said. But Amara stood too. "We'll both go." Together they walked inside. Together they climbed the stairs. Together they tucked Hana back into bed, smoothing her hair, whispering that everything was okay. That they were here. That they always would be. And as Dae-hyun watched his daughter drift back to sleep, her tiny hand wrapped around his finger, he realized something profound. He'd spent his entire life building an empire of power. But this, his family, his home, his heart finally whole, this was the only empire that mattered. The one built on love. The one that would last forever. 3 years later. Hana and Haru were 6 now, starting first grade, smart, fearless, loved. Dae-hyun had stepped back from direct operations, focusing instead on legitimate business ventures and the foundation he and Amara had started together. They'd gotten married in a small ceremony. Just family, just the people who mattered. His father had walked Amara down the aisle. It was the first time Dae-hyun had seen him cry. Now, sitting in the audience of the girls' school play, watching Hana and Haru perform with absolute confidence, he felt something he'd never expected. Peace. Complete. Perfect. Peace. Amara's hand found his in the darkness. "Happy?" she whispered. "Impossibly," he whispered back. On stage, Haru spotted them and waved enthusiastically, breaking character completely. Hana elbowed her sister, trying to stay serious. The audience laughed. Dae-hyun laughed. And in that moment, surrounded by the sound of his daughter's voices and the warmth of his wife's hand in his, he understood the truth. He'd been looking for empire in all the wrong places. Because the only kingdom worth having was the one you built with the people you loved. And his? His was perfect. Love K-dramas and romantic stories? Step into the Romance Audio Club. Experience full romantic series and thrilling parts each month. Unlock your bonus story and join a VIP community of fellow romance fans. Don't miss the next chapter of your favorite love story. Scan the QR code now and start your adventure today.